Hello and welcome to an overview of scheduling classes in the BBC. So today we are going to go over the My Schedule page a little bit more in depth. We'll click on this link and it takes us to our Class Connect sessions. If you have any scheduled, they'll show up here in a listing. If you want to hyperlink into them rather quickly, you can just click on that link and it should take you to them. We use the Manage button to create new Class Connect sessions. It does, when you push that button, it does populate a new tab in your browser, and it loads up the BBC scheduler. It will say your name, Class Connect sessions, and you can have a daily view or weekly view. If you want to go back maybe into last month or something for a recording for a student or for some other reason, you can just use these arrows to navigate. You click on a date. I'll just show you a random. There we go. Here is a listing of sessions, who owns the session, and if there's a guest link or actions. Is this required or optional? This is going to be a really important part, and what type it is. Small group is generally what we default to. All right, so we'll go to today. So you can see a listing of those. When you create a new session, you just push here and it creates this pop-up or generates a pop-up for you. And again, we go small group. It's easy to schedule with a small group. We tend to use small groups, and so it fits for us. And you press continue. You can name your session. This is where you get creative. And you can, make it a fun session name. That way the students are intrigued. Maybe they want to come and see what that's all about. And so you try to make this one fun, keep it light. And then I will generally, just so I know, this will be my class 1 or session 1 for the day. And then I would put session 2 or session 3, so on and so forth, just so that I know when I go to track this information. I want to know which session of the day this was for. This makes it a whole lot easier to schedule. When you create groups, it also makes it easier to track. So when you go into the tracker, talk more about those later, you can see which one was for session 1, which one for session 2, and so on and so forth. You want to add a subject, so I have science, and then a course. So I have some science. Now I'm going to go with this one. And then I leave the unit lesson blank. You can add one if you want. The program, this depends on what you are teaching. We do have the 504, gifted, we have clubs, and then there are other options here. So if you are in need of any of those, please feel free to click on those. I don't generally run with special programs, so I just put none. This is where you want to put your start date. This is really important because if you put the wrong start date, you won't be able to find your Class Connect. It will disappear somewhere. So you want to make sure that it's today's date or the date that you want this to run. So let's say we wanted this to run on tomorrow, Monday, August 19th. And I want it to start at, note these are AM. Note the AM. You have to scroll down to get to PM. You don't want to schedule class for, say, 4 or 5 AM. You want to schedule them for like 9 AM. There is an actual schedule that your team will put together, so you'll know when exactly to start your Class Connect sessions. The duration, we are running 40-minute classes. I like to repeat mine, and I repeat them weekly. And that way I can say, okay, I want this group of students to meet on these days and at that time. I'm just going to have them. And so you can end it after 10 occurrences, but if you forget, then you have to start all over with adding students and such into this Class Connect. And so I do an end on date, and I'll run from September through the start of our winter break. So, and that way I know I might actually just go like that. And I know we don't have school this day, but I also know that it's easier to delete the sessions than it is to add them in. And so I won't forget, because I'll get some reminders from the students and coworkers alike that I need to delete these. But it also allows me to extend them on into the new year if I want to. So if I don't have major changes to this group to make, I can run it into the next year and just delete out the sessions for the winter break. Or I can let it end, and then over winter break, I can start a new set of Class Connect sessions. So if I have major changes, that's what I would probably do. And we'll press continue. And so this Class Connect session, it will show up Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. It will start on August 19th, and it's going to run through December 24th. When you are looking to add students, you press student here. And when you have students in your class, they'll show up right here. Also, when you have, you can choose to use it my classrooms, my groups, classroom for selected teacher. I'm going to put my classrooms here. And then when I press search, student names will show up here. I click on the students' names that I want in this Class Connect session. So I want these people invited to this Class Connect session, and then you can add required or optional. Just as a tip and trick, I would add administration. So you can also add administration, and you press search, and so this is Anthony. I want him to be included on my Class Connect session because if I have trouble logging in, if my internet goes out, if my computer breaks, any number of things, tech issues happen, and if they happen and a Class Connect is getting ready to start, the admin is more than happy to jump in. They will either leave a message on the board for the students saying your teacher will not be able to make it to class because of tech issues, or they will say, hang in there, guys, be about 5 minutes, okay? So they'll cover your class until you can get up and running again. So I put them as optional. Okay, so just click optional, and that will allow them to show up as optional. If you click required, then it shows up as required over here. This is how you know how you've invited people. And out of there so it doesn't show up. For them, you can add learning coaches. So when we come time to do our parent-teacher conferences, you can add the learning coach and the student both. So that way they are able to join you. If you have a teacher that you need to add, so maybe I have some support. I'm going to get some support from title. I will always add as optional, because if something comes up for them, and I've overlapped another class, it doesn't show up as required and then cause issues elsewhere. All right, so remove, and just click on them and press remove to remove. And then we're going to continue on. This is going to give you an overview of what you've done. So it gives you your session name, instructional level, moderator. So who's the person who's moderating or owning this, the subject, the course, the program. It starts on this date, this time, and it repeats weekly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to end on December 24th. And I did not add participants, but if I did, it will give you a listing, a number here. how many required, how many optional. And we press schedule the session. And we have a success. If this does not show up, then your CC session did not schedule. And generally, you have to start over. So if you don't see this after a few moments, your CC session is probably not scheduled, and you'll just need to start over and try it again. And you can check your session list. So we're going to go check our session list. I need to see tomorrow because that's where we scheduled it. And here it is. It showed up. And I always check it. If you need a guest link for a student who is having some kind of issue, they can only access their email for whatever reason. Although if they have email, they probably have the OMS or access to it. But, sometimes they just need a helpful link emailed to them. Send it along. You can do that here. Or if you want to invite a teacher last minute, this is a great URL. This is going to allow you to view or edit the session so you can run through the same process we just went through. You can also delete. And you can delete this occurrence or delete all future occurrences. So when you're deleting for winter break or a break in the schedule, you want to just delete the occurrence. If you've overscheduled, say at the end of the year, and you don't need them anymore, you can delete all future occurrences. And when you refresh, nothing shows up. And you can check by just scrolling forward a couple of days. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, need help, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can call, text, or email. Thanks so much.